With that said, and I want everybody in the chat to give me yours. Top 5, our top 5 favorite boxing movies of all time. And we're going to compare my movies. And we might, of course, it's 5, and we're going to have some the same. But we're going to see who has the overall better list. Mine or GFunky, because I ain't going to lose another poll on my own damn channel, bro. That's number 1. Okay? That is unacceptable. Right? It's not going to be tolerated here. Okay? It ain't going to be tolerated at all. All right? Check it out. Check this out. Who do you got, GFunky? Number 5. Give it to me. What's number 5? Numero 5.
Well, first I want to say is this, man. Anytime that I'm asked to make my top list, if whether it's 10, 15, 20, you know, anytime I get to the top 5, those can be interchangeable, you know. When you get that low to the list, you know,
he's already making excuses. He's already making excuses.
But I want to say my number 5 would probably be Ali with Will Smith, and that one right there, it took a while to grow on me because I remember at the time when they were talking about making that movie and they were saying that Will Smith was going to play Ali. I was like, oh man, are you serious, bro? Like Will Smith to play Ali? Like, I mean, I didn't really think much of it. But when I seen the movie, I was like, hey, you know what? He looked like him. You know, he got his body to look like him too. And he played the role pretty good, man. So that's why I put that movie in my top 5, man. It turned me around, you know, because I was thinking it was going to be kind of weak when I first heard about it. But it was good, man. I liked it.
Absolutely. Number 5 for me. Okay, I'm gonna land the Plania hook like he did on Greer in round 1. It's about to land right now. Okay, but I got The Fighter. All right, The Fighter, the story of Mickey Ward. I didn't grow up being a Mickey Ward fan or anything like that. I love the Arturo Gatti fights, of course, and I respect him as a fighter and all that. But the movie itself, although they kind of I'm not gonna lie, it's misleading that he won a title, and you know what I mean. Like, he didn't win any major title. That was like the WBU or something like that. Okay, but The Fighter, man, and great acting by Marky. When you got Marky Mark in a movie, bro, it should, you know, it's a success waiting to happen. You know what I mean? You got me beat with the actor. I got to give you that. Will Smith's a better actor, but the overall movie, but the star of the show isn't even him, bro. The Fighter, Christian Bale, Night of Tuco. I appreciate that. Christian Bale did a phenomenal acting in that movie, bro. He's playing the brother of, you know, of Mickey Ward, and the acting is great. Okay, I mean, you could feel like how he's just a troublemaker and, you know, getting high and shit, and he ends up in jail, then he gets out of jail, and then there's friction with the family and the whole 9. That's what I got so far. All right, what's your number 4, GFunky?
Number 4 is a fairly new movie, but I like it. And again, I was surprised by one of the actors that was in it, did a really good job that I didn't think was going to do good. And that was Hands of Stone. And the actor I'm talking about is Usher. Like, when I heard he was going to play Sugar Ray Leonard, I was like, oh, man. But you know what? Yeah, he looked like Ray, man. Like, not only did they make him look like with his face and his hair and like his body and everything, but like even the way, I got to give him credit, man. The way that he moved around the ring was very similar to what Ray Leonard looked like. You could tell he really did his homework on the movements and stuff like that of Ray Leonard. So I like that, man. But overall, I thought that was a good movie, man. The Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone, man. That's my number 4.
Good movie, man. I have a fairly new movie myself. Numero 4, Creed. I got Creed on there. All right. I was planning. I thought, dude, let me tell you something. When they announced they were going to make another Rocky movie, I was not for it. When they said it was going to be Creed, I was still kind of like, But I gave it a chance, man, and it won me over. You know what I mean? The first one, definitely a really, really good movie. I got to go with Creed.
Good movie. Good acting too by Michael B. Jordan.
Rocky as well, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, it was a good movie, man, but not in my top 5.
What is your número 3?
Well, my number 3 movie is a classic. It's tough to not put it number 1 because you have an all-star cast of not only actors but the director. Man, all greats that put this movie together, but it's a classic, man, and that's Raging Bull. You got Robert De Niro, you got Joe Pesci, you got Scorsese's the director. I mean, how could you go wrong, man, with a movie like that? Good way that they described his life and stuff. They kind of showed his ups and downs outside of the ring. You know, they showed how tough he was in the ring. You know, that scene where he's with Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson. He's like, "He didn't put me down, Ray." And his eyes are all shut, you know. And so, I mean, that's a classic movie, man. That's my number 3, Raging Bull.
Raging Bull. Good movie. I'm gonna say it now. It didn't quite make my top 5. It would have made a top 10, but it didn't make my top 5. Right? I had a feeling GFunky was going to use that movie. You know what I mean? Good movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot, but I think people overrate it when they say it's number 1. I get that it's a classic and all that, but that's my opinion. But here's one that I think is severely underrated. A movie that I love and I love watching it. Russell Crowe, Cinderella Man, right? That is an awesome movie, bro. Like I can feel the times in that movie. You know what I mean? I can feel like I'm in the 20s and shit. You know what I mean? Like or the 30s. I mean, like I could feel like I'm there. I can feel the, you know, when he's a light heavyweight, he's on top of the world, and then he goes through hard times after fucking up his hand, you know, and he's trying to still box, and then you kind of, you know, you see a lot of what boxers have to go through in those days where he doesn't even get paid after a fight when he's trying to put on a performance, but the promoter was disgusted. By the way, that promoter, I mean, when you come out of a movie and you hate a motherfucker, I don't know the name of that actor, but like if I ever saw him, I would punch him in the face. That's how good his acting was. Okay? Like I hated that dude. Like in that scene where he's asking for money and he pulls out some pocket change and gives it to him. When you order money for a fight, you know, so it's not so much the boxing, just the movie itself. And it's a true story, but that's arguably the biggest upset in the history of heavyweight boxing, right? That was a huge upset. Max Baer was no fucking joke. Max Baer defeated Max Schmeling, bro. He was just coming off destroying Primo Carnera. The real story is good enough, but the actual story around it, the acting was great. Loved it. I loved the movie. My one criticism about the movie, though, they kind of portrayed Bear in a pretty bad light. Like they made him look like an asshole, but I get that they needed like a villain, so I get why they did it. But I'm not a fan of how they portrayed Max Baer, you know. And I also know that I'm not a fan of what Braddock and his people did at Joe Louis in terms of. To get the title shot, he had to agree to give him a piece of his purse for the rest of his career. You know what I mean? But that's just the way boxing was, and that's unfortunate. But it doesn't take away from the actual movie itself. You know what I mean? Good movie, Cinderella Man.
Yes, good movie, great actor, Russell Crowe in that movie. I have to throw this out there. Max Baer did reside here towards the end of his life. And we also have a park in South Sacramento, which is the area I grew up in, Max Baer Park. So shout out to Max Baer. And that was a huge upset, man. And great movie for sure.
What's your numero dos, GFunky?
Okay, this one's going to ruffle some feathers because it's not number 1. But this is my list, all right? And it's because of what I like. But this movie could be number 1 on just about every single list, man. Every single list. And yeah, you're right. Rocky 1. Rocky 1. We wouldn't have a lot of these movies that we're talking about without that movie being made, and not only being made, but being successful, because it was a good movie, man. Very good story. Sylvester Stallone, great job writing. I think he directed also all of them. You know, just incredible movie, created an incredible series, and then an off-spin with the Creeds. So, yeah, it's tough for me to not put it number one, but there's a good reason why it's not number one on my list. But Rocky is my number two.
Get out. My number two is actually Rocky 1 as well. So we are in agreement with Rocky 1. I love the movie, bro. The acting's good, and that's a movie like my grandma could watch, and she's not even a boxing fan, and she does. She has seen it, and she enjoyed it because it's a movie. You know what I mean? It's not about the fighting in the ring. You know, it's just that the movie itself is really good. And you know, ING is saying it got him into boxing. Well, there you go. You know, the series, really good acting, bro. And you kind of feel that connection, that bond when he meets Adrian, and we can all relate to that. You know what I mean? We can all remember when we met our first love and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So you can sense the bond there. I forget the name of the actress. I apologize. That plays Adrian, but she just a great job acting like this shy girl, and like, you know, it's just great stuff, man. And the build up to the fight, and even now, like if you watch the movie now, you still feel it, how much of an underdog he was. Like you could honestly feel it. Apollo Creed, you know, great stuff, and that's that. I love the movie. I also feel like you can wipe out all the other Rocky movies. That movie stands perfect on its own. The fact that he didn't win, he just took it to the champion and almost knocked him out, but he didn't quite win. Good stuff. I enjoyed the movie, man.
Yeah, good stuff there, man. So this one again, like I said, it's gonna ruffle some feathers because I put it above Rocky. But for me, for G-Funk, my list. And because G-Funk is a big boxing fan, and because you see in the background here, I got my guitars hanging. I'm a musician. My favorite movie that has boxing and music together is called When We Were Kings, man. It's got James Brown. It's got B.B. King. It's got the Fania All-Stars, man, with the salsa band and everything. They're over there in Zaire, Africa, covering the Ali Foreman. And it also covered how, you know, Ali, you know, how he was such a charismatic figure to the people over there in Zaire. And then covered the whole event, a huge event over there, the Rumble in the Jungle back in 1974, I think.
Yeah, there's a scene I love in that movie, but go ahead.
Yeah, and that's why I picked it as number one, because it's got boxing and music, which is, you know, what I love. So that's why I have it number one, man. James Brown, the Godfather of Soul, one of my all-time favorite musicians, big influence on my music. And Ali, one of my all-time favorite boxers. Foreman, one of the hardest-hitting heavyweights of all time. So it's got everything that I like, man, and I love that movie.
You know that scene where Ali's jogging, the camera's facing him? Mm-hmm. He starts shadow boxing, he's talking shit to George Foreman. You know, I love that. I don't know why I love that scene. But I want to make an announcement, guys. G-Funky has already lost. By default, he's been disqualified. That's a documentary. That's not a movie.
Oh, man.
Am I wrong? Everybody tell me I'm wrong. He's been disqualified. Ding, 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 ding. It's over. Numero uno. You ready for numero uno? You ready for the knockout blow, G-Funky?
Let's go.
$1 million baby. That movie is an awesome movie. Okay? Look, man, I don't like Clint Eastwood's politics or nothing like that, but his acting, really good. Freeman's in that movie. You know, it's a great movie. Right? It shows you so many aspects. You know, I remember watching the, you know, that kid that had like some, and he was always talking about how he's going to challenge Hitman Hearns for the welterweight championship of the world. Remember that? Dude, that scene where, because there was always that guy that was bothering him, and the guy's a big actor now, but he was the, you know, that one guy in the gym that was always bothering him. And I remember like just watching the movie, and I was always like, oh man, he's gonna beat up this kid, you know. And when a movie makes you feel for somebody and anticipate stuff like that, it's well done. That's good directing. He starts beating up the kid. Actually, Freeman comes in, knocks him out cold, bro. He He puts him in his place. You know what I mean? And it makes you feel good. There was that, you know, there was a relationship with the female fighter and her mother. Dude, when she bought, like, her mom the house, and her mom would, like, got mad at her for it because she's going to lose her welfare check and stuff like that. God damn, like, you know how pissed off I was? There was a scene where she's in the hospital after, you know, she hit her neck on a stool. And the mom comes in, and then she came to see her daughter. The actor that plays is played by Clint Eastwood's, like, trying to intervene, like, to look out for her, and she tells him to leave the room. I'm thinking she's gonna sign off, like, all her royalties to her, and I was so pissed off, bro. But then she tells her to go fuck herself. You know what I mean? And he walks in and he goes, "Should somebody count to 10?" Great stuff. Plus, you know, a lot of bonds, relationships. First, he doesn't want to train her at first. She convinces him. The boxing's not that bad, you know, in the movie either. So there you go, man. $1 Million Baby.